Welcome to another gorgeous day and another day of Dose of Did You Know, where intriguing, inspiring, unique individuals come to talk about love and life and how it has brought them to where they are today. With me is Jethro. I don't know what I'm going to end up calling you. We'll just see how it flows. Whatever comes out is what it is. But how are you today?
Doing really well. How are you?
I am doing fantastic because I live in warm weather. You live on the East Coast, so I don't know if you're in warm weather. Are you like in warm weather? Are you in yucky weather?
It's kind of like fall right now, but we've been swimming everywhere lately. We got a ton of flooding with this last hurricane, and
So you can
been
just
a mess.
swim. Go out to your neighbor's front yard just with your bathing suit and,
Swimmies and everything.
Yeah, they're perfect. But before we start going, tell the world a little bit about who you are.
Sure. So I'm a former law enforcement officer. Got out and got into retail sales and really noticed that I had a void missing in my life, and serving was a part of that void, and the camaraderie and just the community I was a part of. So decided to start a coffee and apparel company. I'm a coffee addict, so I figured that's the best route to go, and take a majority of my sales and I donate it back to various military and law enforcement charities.
Oh, okay. So like, how do you end up picking? That's a big deal. People always will call me and be like, how do I know which, either veteran-owned business or veteran charity that I should give to? What do
Yeah,
you
sure.
suggest?
So there's a million charities out there. I mean, there's even a million companies like me out there. And my thing is, there's plenty of room in the world for all of us. It's about the support each other. There's other small veteran and law enforcement owned companies that I actually speak to the owners on a daily basis, and we support each other. We wear each other's gear. We drink each other's coffee. It's just, that's what it's about. And when you're looking for a charity, I really, really recommend doing as much research as you can. I like going after the smaller charities that have, a very large following on social media, because you're actually seeing where this money is going. A charity I chose was the 14th Hour Foundation, which is started by Chris Tanto Peranto. You may be familiar with him from the Benghazi conflict. He was former Army Ranger and CIA contractor who was in Benghazi and fought through the night when they were left stranded. So he came back. He started a charity called the 14th Hour Foundation. I actually met him at a book signing, hit it off. I just kind of stayed up to date and in contact with him and his wife, Tanya. So when I got this going and I was a little profitable, reached out to them. I told them I wanted to be a part of what they were doing, and that's where I am now. I also donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital as well.
Oh, all right. I like the smaller nonprofits too, where they haven't gotten themselves corrupted yet. And not all of them are corrupted.
Not all of them do, and
that was like wrong for me to like slide in the yet there, but
yeah. And unfortunately, there are a few larger charities that started out honest, but the bigger you get and the more outside involvement you have from different corporations and backers and people you put on the board, obviously things are going to get a little muddied. But I do like to try to stay with the smaller charities and the people that have lived it. So they're not just starting the charity to start it. They were actually involved with something related to what they're trying to do. And then I'm also doing a 9/11 Memorial 20th Anniversary T-shirt as well. And I'm donating 100% of those proceeds to the Tunnels to Towers charity, which helps families of fallen 9/11 first responders and first responders with 9/11 related illness.
You get something on your heart and you just kind of run with it. What made you become a police officer to begin with?
So I wanted to become a police officer. I wanted to be a cop since I was a kid. It's either firefighter, astronaut, police officer, archaeologist for dinosaurs, and I kind of stuck with the cop thing. I wanted to do the military, but stupid little things were keeping me out, and I just felt like it wasn't my time. So I did go the law enforcement route, and I loved it. I really did. Yeah. So just kind of a childhood thing that never left me.
Yeah, so you achieved it, and now you're kind of moving on into this next phase of your life that you decided, okay, so why did you decide? First of all, tell everybody what your decision was and how did that come up? Were you just like one night and having, one of those self-talks and like, Jeff, I don't know. I think we need to have like a little one-on-one here. You're missing something. Like, how did that conversation go?
Yeah, so the ripe age, the ripe, young, fit age of 34 years old, I was like, you know what? I miss being in uniform. I really, truly feel that my calling was to serve, whether it's, the country or the community. Patriotism has always run really deep in me. We're not really sure where it came from because nobody in my family is really like that. We don't have a big military lineage. My grandfather served in World War II, but that was about it. And I said, you know what? Just working with the charities and just all the guys that come in contact, they've always like, you're that type A. Where did you serve? What did you do? I'm like, I was law enforcement. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for your service. And I was missing that piece. So I said, you know what? If I don't do this now, I'm really going to regret it for the rest of my life. And I really want to get closer to the people I'm trying to help. So I'm enlisting in the Navy.
Okay, and what does that look like at 34? Like, do you have to go to boot camp at 34?
Oh,
Can
yeah,
you survive boot camp at 34? I don't know.
I can. So actually, I'm one of those that I'll die before I quit. There's a really funny Toby Keith song, "As Good as I Once Was," and there's a verse that says, "My mind says you can't do this, but my pride says, oh yes you can," and that's where I'm at right now. But I've actually, dedicated a lot of my time to getting back into shape. Much slimmer than I was about a month and a half ago when I decided to embark on this journey. And I won't quit. So my goal is to go in there, the old guy that's just an absolute machine that smokes these young kids. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to love every second of the pain. And apparently it's not what it used to be as far as difficulties. So, they've gotten a little bit more relaxed on things. So I'm really going to draw on my time from police academy when things were a little bit tougher. Hopefully that is the case.
It can be a little bit of a benefit to you, but I always had this issue, and probably it's my own issue as just being a Marine mom. And, I always have all those Marine mom groups and I was part of it. And I still talk to them, even though, he's not in anymore, but we're still so close. And all of our boys went through, and actually went through boot camp like right around the same times. And not my group of friends, but there'd be other Marine mom groups that would get angry because they were like, it's so hard and our poor little babies. And I always call them, they're like the pussy moms or something. Like, I'm like, seriously? My mindset was, my son's going to do this. And I don't know what he's going to end up after he gets out of boot camp. Boot camp's probably the safest and easiest place that he can be as a Marine. I said, so I want them to kick the shit out of him, do whatever they need to do to prepare him for what's out there. And please take your son, if they have the mindset of you, and stay far away from mine. Like, don't have his back. Like, you guys go be paper pushers or something. I was terrified.
Unfortunately, you have to really train like you fight. That goes back to, being in law enforcement. You can't be complacent. You can't, you got to train like it's, fight night. You have to. Any sort of, ease or taking a break or, this person looks like he's having a really hard time, let's ease up. No. And if you're not the type of person that can dig deep and understand that the pain is only going to pay off tomorrow when you need to use what you learn, you don't need to be there. And from my understanding, it is much more relaxed as far as the training aspect of it, and which I'm kind of upset about, but I know I'm harder on myself than anybody else could possibly be, and I'm just going to really maximize it and take it for everything it's worth and just push beyond my limits.
Yeah, good. As you should. Do you kind of think, I'm just putting it out there, I said this to like all those moms and family members that were complaining to their sons and kind of putting like that mindset onto their children. Don't you feel they're doing more harm than good. Like if that's how you feel, keep it to yourself. Like when Jake would deploy, and I would cry and I'd be so scared, I would never, ever tell him,
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
I would feel like that's the last thing he needs to think of is like his mom.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, growing up, I was the only boy of 3 kids and the youngest. And so I was always very sheltered and put in a cocoon. So I don't know where this drive and, lack of fear or this mentality came from. But, my family were like, why are you doing this? It's like, look, and I've had the conversation, if you can't support me, please don't tell me. I really either don't bring it up at all, or just pretend you're supporting me, because I need to get in the right mindset, and I'm doing this anyway. So if you can just support me, it would make me a little bit more determined to get this done and do it the right way without having a little bit of self-doubt in the back of my head. But my family's been great about it. My kids, I have 2 little girls. They're like, you know what, Dad, this is you, go do it. And again, the rest of my family, they're really supportive, and I was shocked at how supportive they were. They're like, you know what, if you don't do it now, you're going to be so pissed at yourself you never did it. So just now's your time. Go ahead, do it.
Yeah, seriously, Jeff, you're not getting any younger. I mean, you might be, this is the cap. This is like, it's like ride or die right now. You're at that, like, let me tell you, because I'm like 10 years older than you, and I'm thinking of myself. Well, of course, I'm a wimp, and I'm a big old chicken. Anybody that knows me knows that. I'm always like, no, what is that? Although I talk to strangers all the time, which they're like, if you're the biggest chicken, why do you talk to strangers?
Right.
That's the number 1 rule you teach your children, never talk to strangers. And you were like, oh, so I got my own issues, which we all know that. But so what is your goal with it? Like, what do you want to be? Like Jacob, he wanted to be infantry, and that's what he wanted to be, and that's what he was. Like, what are you hoping for? Do you have a job? Like, I don't know. Like, you're 34. This whole it's fascinating to me, the concept and the mindset of going into it at that age.
Yeah. So a driving factor for me is, again, just everybody that I'm working with and, trying to support. I'm trying to get a, better understanding of what they go through, what they've gone through. And, I also want to, I'm an older generation of, millennial. Unfortunately, I'm a millennial, but I'm on like the really like tail end of it, like really close to not being a millennial. And I feel like, that post 9/11 enlistee and that post 9/11 soldier is different from what it is today. And I want that to survive a little bit, so if I can go in now and bring the mentality that I have, and, even change one kid's mind that's in boot camp for the wrong reason, and just drive a little bit of patriotism and love for God and country into them, that's one extra person that I was able to guide. One other person that I'm able to bring to, a deep passion for what we're doing. Because unfortunately, a lot of it's just about college and not knowing what they're doing now. Yeah. And that real deep-seated patriotism is kind of gone in the younger generation. And like I said, if I could just plant that seed with 1 or 2 guys that are in the military, and, I do my 1 contract, maybe 2 if they let me. But if that deep-seated patriotism that I can plant goes on with whoever it is, and they can put it on to somebody else, you're kind of keeping that, that spirit alive. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah. That's a very selfless way to do it, actually. There's other ways that it could be done, but no, it's on your heart.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And, when I talk to different people, or, we talk about 9/11, or, I hear the right song on the radio, I get chills, and it goes through me. And, and my family says, they're like, we wish we could understand and feel what you feel, because we don't get it. And I'm like, you're not going to. You have to be a certain kind of person. And I get along really well with, other veterans and law enforcement officers. And when you have those 2 personalities together, and, we say it's, real meets real, you just feed off of each other. And it's that's what it's about. And the ethos for my company is charity, support, and camaraderie. And it's really what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just kind of taking it to the next step. Are you a God-loving man? Are you like on Team Jesus? Just curious. No judgment if you're not. Just curious.
I was raised Roman Catholic, and I do talk to God quite a bit.
Okay, so I was like raised Catholic, but I would call myself more of a Christian now, not necessarily like whatever. But I'm definitely on Team Jesus. So the whole reason I said that was like sometimes like I will struggle. Like every morning I do my prayer journal. I talk to God all the time. God, like we're very, very close. But there are times where it's just like all of a sudden it's just on my heart. Like if he was a man in front of me walking this earth, he said it out of his words, and I'm like, that's it. And it'll just, and that's my mind. My mind is made up, and whatever that is, I'm doing it. No matter how crazy or scary it might seem to people. That's why I asked. That's what it's like for me. And it kind of, when you were talking, it made me feel like that way.
Yeah, I agree. When I get something, I feel like when something strikes me, that's it. There is no derailing me. There's no changing my course. I am a bull in the china shop. It's again, that's that mentality.
Right.
And I was raised Roman Catholic, and as I've gotten older and I've gone through certain things, I've even looked towards like the Viking Nordic gods, and not that I pray to them, but I have an understanding of that like warrior culture, that warrior, just that warrior religion, and I kind of draw strength on that as well. Yeah. And it's like the thing with the Nordic and pagan gods is, you don't beg for help, you don't beg to see it through. It's you ask for the strength to see it through, and that stays with me. But yeah, so I don't care who the God is, I'll talk to him.
I'll talk to him. Well, just if you know,
everybody, whoever I can get on my side, I'll talk to him.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the name is or whatnot. Yeah. But if you are into that Viking culture, so Jacob knows all of this, like these random facts. So my youngest son, we were talking about death. Don't ask me why. At family dinner, like every week we have these big Italian family dinners, and we were talking about death. And my youngest he's like, I want to go out like the Vikings. I want to go out into the ocean, like floating, and then someone shoot an arrow, a firing arrow, and I go up in flames. And so I volunteered because I bow shoot. I'm like, I would love to shoot an arrow at you and put you on fire. Like that might sound sick as a mother to say, but I'm like, oh, all that pain and suffering that you gave me to give you your last hurrah. Definitely. So Jacob, that guy, he's like, oh, all you got to do is go to a Viking church and just go there once, let them know that you're there, and you can totally do that in America. It's part of your culture. So there you go. You just got to go to a Viking church, and if that is how you want to go out, I might have put words in your mouth of how you want to die and have a flaming arrow, but it can happen.
No, it's there's something really deep about that kind of warrior culture, and people who have that spirit in them, it really resonates with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I would love. I think that's awesome. I think that's one hell of a way to go out, right?
Right? Have your mom be the one that does it. Maybe that's I might be sick and twisted. Who knows?
No, you're a Marine mom.
Yes, a little bit. Does it trickle down? I don't know. I don't know how all of that works. So are you going to, this last question before we kind of tidy things up, but are you going to still be able to keep, this company, your coffee and clothing company going? Is it going to go on hold, or is it going to slow down? Is someone going to help you just keep the wheels running as you are on this deeper, I don't even know what to call it, like this deeper journey, this deeper purpose?
So I do have help. I have a very supportive family. Everybody who's in my life is very supportive. So I am going to transition it over to them to help me, while I'm in the parts of training that I don't have access to any technology. So it'll be a very short time that I transition over to somebody for help. But moving forward, I will be able to carry it. And, wherever my travels go, that's just going to be more people that I can get in front of, more people I can speak to, more people I can connect with, and just try and grow my team as much as possible.
Super cool. Super cool. I can't wait to see like the adventures, right? Like follow you, whatever you can post. Maybe you
Yeah, of
won't.
course.
It'll end up being a book after. Who knows what it or who knows what it'll be, but it'll be fun to see
Right.
the adventures that you go
Yeah.
through and your mind. If you still have this same thing in 3 months or 6 months or 2 years, if your mind is still in the same place or how it's evolved into where
Right.
it ends up going.
Yeah, just in the last few months alone, just this to see the evolution of where I started from to where I am now, and the following that I have, and just I have customers, but they're not customers. They're like they are my people, and just to have that support and that following from them, I still get like starstruck when somebody reaches out to me and just thanks me for whatever I'm doing, or thanking for the help, or I call it the Freedom F-150. It's my pickup truck that's wrapped in guns, coffee, and freedom. And when I get a message from somebody, oh my God, I just saw you on the road. It's so cool what you're doing. We love your company. It's like, I get embarrassed. I'm like, oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right. That's cool. That's pretty cool. And to be able to receive that's pretty cool too. A lot of people can't receive. I'm not the best at receiving, but working on it. Everybody should work on it. But before I let you go to finish up your awesome day out there today, in this moment right now, I ask that you answer this question like first thing, don't overthink it. There's no right or wrong. But in this moment right now, Jeff, what does love mean to you?
It means selflessness. Love is selflessness. Putting others before yourself. And I mean, what I'm doing right now. Putting my family before me, putting my country before me, and putting, the safety of everyone else beside me and before me as well.
There you go. Living what your love is. I love it. Lead with love. Although someone said that, I think I was not having a lead with love moment. And they like threw my words back in my face. And I was like, damn
it. Yeah, you got to watch out what you say.
I know. It's a good reminder, though. When I get off track, everyone's got to get snapped back. But thank you so much for, sharing where your heart is, what you're doing, being an inspiration. I mean, everybody has something that they're going, and when they find their purpose and their drive and they just like forge forward and embrace it, it's very, very cool. So thanks for sharing that with us today. And to everybody else out there, remember as always, love hard, love pure, and love proactive. Until next time.